Yeah, glad to have you join us on another scintillating edition of Hot Seats right here on the People's Telly. I am Moses or Jewumi. Well, on the show today, we'll be visiting the Ivory Tower because my guest is a professor of applied microbiology. And who am I talking about? Professor Temitope Popoola. Are you welcome to the show?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for coming. But very quickly, let's get to his profile. When we come back, we'll go straight into the interview segment of the show. Stay with us. And that was the profile of my guest today, Professor Temitope Popoola, Professor of Applied Microbiology at Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB. You're welcome to the show, Prof, once again. I mean, looking at your profile, you've held positions, in FUNAB. You attended the University of Reading in the United Kingdom. So one could say you've seen it all, academically. How fulfilled are you as an academic?
Well, thank you for bringing me in here. Yes, in terms of fulfillment, I can say I give thanks to God. And personally, I feel fulfilled. I wish it could be better. Because there are times you feel you wish you want to get some things done, which you are not able to do because of environment. Things are changing. The prayer is you want people coming behind you to do better than you. And when you look at the concept of Japa, then you want to ask yourself again, are you fulfilled? Because if the people you train so that they can make the country do better, if they all leave and go abroad, then what's the reason or reasons behind your efforts? The idea is to train people that will take over from you. Look around us here. You want to wonder if and what are those things that are product of Nigerian research. Then you want to ask, if you are 70-something years old, how much have we contributed to the development of the nation? You see, you can see the effect of that fulfillment coming out. When you look back to the kind of upbringing we enjoyed and what is available for the younger ones now, then you will ask that question again. Are you fulfilled? Are we fulfilled? Yes, we thank God we are playing our role or have played our role, but we wish it could be better. I like music. Bola Ige in Lagbaja's song, he said, "May you be better than we." That is, there is something that even at that age, he expects that should be done to make the lives of the ones coming behind us better. He was talking about fulfillment as it affects each and every one of us. So if anybody comes up now to tell you that it's fulfilled the way the nation is, questions must be asked.
But I mean, are you sad that because some would say what your generation enjoyed, your generation couldn't replicate it, particularly to my generation, to the Gen Z, the post-millennial, generation. Are you also disturbed by that? I mean, the free education, the good old days, your generation couldn't, extend that to my own generation. Is this something worrisome to you?
When we point fingers at those before us, then somebody is pointing fingers at us as well. So, and the cycle continues. So we all need to brace up and decide, make up our mind which direction we want the country to go. It is everybody's responsibilities. Yes, I am disturbed. We can't continue like this. Things should be better than this. And I believe there's hope for this country. We enjoyed some good things, good life in our time. How much was a meal in the university? What does it take to bring somebody up, to take somebody through school? Now, the minimum, a plate of meal is about 1,000 naira. So even if you're on 011 feeding formula, you are looking at 2,000 a day. So minimum you need to feed a child in school, tertiary institution, in a week or in a month is 60,000, 70,000. So how does that man earning 70,000 naira cope? He didn't go to school, but he desired that his children enjoy education. It was not that bad. It was not that challenging in our time. So those chaps that you see doing Yahoo, doing Olosho, they tell you it's all about survival. But is that the way to survive? There are many questions that will keep coming up. That is talking about feeding alone. You will need money for photocopying, to buy books, transportation, and so on. So how much do you reckon you need to send a child to school, whether private, semi-private, faith-based, or government institution?
And at times, one would wonder, you did talk about hope, and you also felt disturbed with the rate people are living at the countries. Those who train in the universities, the good ones, they apply for scholarship, they leave this country, they say Japa with no intention, of coming back. Some even say school is a scam. Even many students in tertiary institutions are into internet fraud, Yahoo, and while in school, you see them use cars that many of the lecturers, even the vice chancellor, may not be able to buy. So, what is the hope?
There is still hope. I believe there is hope. A nation that is not educated is doomed. We need education. We need invention. That's the only way. I believe that's the only way. Yes, I schooled abroad. I came back because I believe I need to contribute something. And it has to be here. I can't become prime minister then in UK. There are limitations to how far, how fat, how big you can grow in somebody else's country. This is the truth.
Well, those going to the United Kingdom, of course, they just want to live. They just want the basic. They want to enjoy the basic things. Some will travel because of their children, because they want a better future, for their children, and they hope that environment, would provide that. Do you regret coming back to Nigeria?
Popoola, no, no, not at all. Some of my students are professors as well, so I've been able to reproduce myself. I take joy in going back home to do one thing or the other. So those things I didn't enjoy as a small boy in growing up in Ilaro, at least I've been able to reproduce that in some other ones. On the average in a day, I know how many people reach out to me and how many people I reach out to. Those opportunities were not there then. And I believe we can still do better. We can. We can only do it by ourselves and for ourselves. So where are those Indians? Where are those English people that taught us in school? They've gone back. Because they must go back home, just like my father told me. Yes, it's good to have a job in America. You have a job offer in UK, but home is home. So, Japa, what is before us is more than Japa. It is Jagba. How do we get ourselves back from whoever is not doing it right?
But what advice will you give to a young graduate that's maybe seeking scholarship or just wants to leave the country to Canada, to the United States?
Those are
United
two
Kingdom?
different things. I have some of my children abroad as well. That is what they have chosen. They decided they wanted that. I schooled abroad, Commonwealth Scholarship, and one of the terms is, when you finish, you come back home. I was trained to come and serve my nation. Well, after a while, I can go back, but of what benefit? I will go back to UK and work as a security man. What are they enjoying? I was in a supermarket one day and somebody greeted me. Said, "Oh, Daddy, you can't remember me. You were my coordinator at pre-degree Salegbe. Thank you for what you took me through." I acknowledged her, but I wasn't happy. What I took her through is not useful to the country because she's using it even the wrong way there. She was only a store attendant. She could do something better here. I think we got something wrong somewhere along the line. So we need reorientation. We need to believe in this country. We need to find means and ways of doing it right in the interest of the nation. So if I had stayed back in UK, you think I'll be the head of a research institute? I'll be there doing research. They will benefit from the research. Not we here. God, in His wisdom, created me and brought me here.
But Professor, I mean, you never can tell because we have some Nigerians doing so
Who are
well.
doing well?
Heading institutions.
How many percentage? How many of them? We have so many that are doing well here that can compete with them there.
Kemi Badnoch is the leader of the Conservative Party.
Congratulations.
There are many examples of Nigerians that are in one way leading, even in foreign lands. So you never can tell if you stayed back. Maybe you could be heading a research institute.
I am not disputing that, but it depends on your focus as well. The sacrifices that we are not making here, they are making it there. You know what it takes to grow up as a politician in the UK? You must live a clean life. Very clean. Do things right. So how many of us are doing that here? Go to Yana Mortuary. Ordinary traffic lights we don't obey. So she can't do that. During COVID, a minister or prime minister that went even for a tea party was queried. You resign. So if you have a focus, you do things right. Not the way we do it here. Ordinary thank you. Don't appreciate even little things.
Well, I mean, I look at it and I say, where would this attitudinal change, or come from? I mean, people won't wake up one day and say, "Oh, we want to be disciplined now." It would not, happen. So where will it come from? Do you also see Nigeria in the way you see United Kingdom, an organized society where people do things the right way? I mean, I went to Ivory Coast, and you will notice that even at the park, people will naturally queue just to board the vehicle. They will naturally queue. Nobody will fight and say, "I've been here. No, I was here. I told someone to stand in for me." Naturally, they are very organized.
It will come from me and you. Yep. You see, on this job that I do at Alabata, when I go late for a class, I apologize to my students. And I tell them it is not the apology, but the lesson from it. Courtesy, respect. So if I do it right, go and put it to practice somewhere else. It is not all about microbiology. It must be about attitude, growing up, molding character. You get my point? And so if you ask them, if they see me driving a good car, they will believe God has blessed me. So they will see even the teaching job as a good job. So there is so much that you can put together and hand over to your students while doing the job. I am interested in why you are here. Why do you want to study microbiology? Because if you don't get it right at that stage, you may be in the wrong place. If you marry courses students do and how they got into it these days, you will realize some of them are even doing the wrong thing. So that's why many of them, they go to school, do physics, and end up a banker. Because the counseling is not there from the onset. But we have counselors in the primary schools, secondary schools. Many people will now understand what you saw on my CV, moving from botany to plant pathology to microbiology and schooling in the Department of Horticulture. They are all interwoven because microorganisms is the link. So I ended up as a professor of applied microbiology. I can explain that. So at the moment, I'm doing a sabbatical at Taishola University of Education, and I'm in Department of Agriculture.
Okay, now let's go into your field, applied microbiology, which is an act of harnessing the power of microbes to improve human life and solve global challenges. There's so much, ulabalu about GMO crops, the genetically modified organisms. Some groups say no. Nigeria shouldn't allow such. I mean, these crops, cause cancer. Why do we have to accept GMO crops when we have arable lands? I mean, in surplus. I mean, what's your take? Are GMO foods, healthy to consume?
I think so. Why not? You see, the whole essence of this is for mankind to manipulate what is available to them to get the best out of it so that they can live a better life. As simple as that. Food security, food insecurity. Which one do you talk about more? Food security. You want to have enough food. So what you go out to do is to make sure we have more food. so that we can eat and live well.
Well, we've not even explored the natural way, of planting. We've not explored it, fully.
Yeah.
Some would say Nigerians shouldn't, we have the land,
We are
so
part
let's farm and
we are
farm
part
right.
we are part of the world. And sincerely, how much are we doing by ourselves? You understand that? Follow. You follow them. We still do cutlass and hoe. I went for an agric exhibition in South Africa. Ooh, well, what can you cultivate with? How many acres can you cultivate with cutlass and hoe? In this heat, for you to be in that sun. We used to do that in primary school. Farming, it was on the timetable. So that they put you through the rudiments. What was our population then? What is the world's population now? So we are looking for ways of getting things done easily.
But won't these manipulations, have adverse effects, on us?
Then the cost effectiveness. How much? What are the dangers? Which one do you consider easier to handle? Somebody was talking to a guy somewhere. I said, well, we met. We could have met anywhere, anytime. So that I met you through that man who is no longer your friend will not matter. Somehow you will meet. So there must be some manipulation. That's the essence of biotechnology. We manipulate so that we can get the best or a better way of getting things done to our benefit. It is to the benefit of mankind. So we want to, the same tomato that we had 50 years ago, we will still rely on that. We are looking at high productivity.
Because I recall that some experts, claim that no plant has been able to germinate on the farmlands where the GM seeds were planted, even after 4 years.
In my house, I live in Ibadan. There is a guy there living with me. He works with horticulture, NIHOT. On concrete, all he did was just to put some soil and he planted his tomato. In the past 3 years, he gets tomato. So during the problem we had recently, we get tomato in the house easily. Nothing, no serious science, no rocket science. Just something simple: sand, soil, water, and your seeds. And whenever I visit UK, if the weather is fine, I do the same thing in the garden. Back here, I tell them, is it still okay?
Well, those in the rural areas, they are predominantly farmers, and we know that they are the ones, feeding the nations. Benue, for example, in the past, we say food baskets of the nation. I don't know if they can still be regarded as food baskets. Benue State, because of the level of farming they do, in that, state. So some would say, okay, University of Agriculture, Abeokuta is more or less a research institute also. You do agriculture-based research. And I know that one of the duties or mandates of a lecturer is to also engage his community. You've done this research, then take it to your community and engage. So how much of engagement are we also saying? I know we have heard of soilless farming, popularly called hydroponics. Are we also taking this knowledge to those in the rural areas? For example, FUNAB, Alabata is close to Odeda. So are you transferring knowledge to these farmers? Perhaps they could do things differently and make maximum gains.
A simple answer to that, yes. A very big yes. In actual fact, the regime we have in FUNAB now is trying to use the PER personnel around and even consultants to reach out to the citizens so that you can appreciate what they do in that school. There is a lot of work going on there. Basically, the mandate of that university is teaching, research, and community efforts, community engagement. We have so many acres of research output, which there's the farm-based project which the students are engaged in. In those days, I remember we had a project site at somewhere in Shagamu, close to Shagamu, Remo. One around Ilewo, Orile, one in Imeko. So rural farming, that the students live at site, only come to town, do their reports, submit their files, and go back there. And it was very, very effective. But it was becoming a little costly to maintain. So we brought the students back to campus. They're still doing that anyway. And around campus, I live close to Nine Huts in Ibadan. When you get to School of Forestry, you will see some children selling vegetables, fruits, that kind of thing. Yes, they do it at FUNAB too. You feel the impact of, you are getting close to a place where horticulture is being practiced. But one question I want to ask is this. In 1964, when Awolowo did the one at Iweje, what was the population of Nigeria? And what is our population now? The rate at which we are growing population-wise is far, far ahead of what we can produce to feed the population. And this is why science comes in. So what you're trying to condemn, or people are trying to condemn, are the things they use to augment abroad. I've been to South Africa. You would see a vast mass area of land that is just dedicated to sunflower. They will use it for oil, and the waste they use for manure and all other things. Here we are still not doing commercial farming. I passed through Ministry of Agric as State Commissioner. See the forest projects. The wood that African Development Bank collected money. What was the outcome? It was not, I won't use mismanagement, it was not properly managed. So the loan and the support that we had from outside was not properly done. But other people did it and made some money out of it. I was summoned to the House of Assembly to come and account for so many billions of dollars. And I asked them a simple question. Believing we mismanaged $14 million, how much do you reckon was invested? You must have invested some money before you expect that you will harvest this much. And the members there were just looking. The money to invest, they did not even get to the farms. So while trying to mismanage, in quotes, those trees, they were bigger in girth than the machines that were supposed to be used to process them. So everything is abandoned there in the east. We had Lumiro, the oil palm project. Ogun State was doing well, and I believe we can still pick up, but it's not with hoe and cutlass. How many land can you cultivate with hoe and cutlass? There was a day somebody wanted to throw away something, and I said, no, that mold you see growing on it, that your cheese was made from milk and mold. But here, it is bad. The iru that we eat is supposed to be microorganisms fermenting something.
Okay, now going back to what I asked, that are you engaging with the rural farmers?
Yes, we do.
You said yes.
Yes, we do.
So are they, accepting, the discovery,
Some
the
of our
findings?
technologies.
Are
Yes,
they accepting
yes.
away from the part that okay, well, you won't be the ones to supply them tractors? Maybe government will do because many of them they are used to the manual way of farming. But in terms of microbes, maybe fertilizers, varieties, are they accepting these new techniques, or they just believe, oh, let's keep doing farming the way we know how to do it?
Policies, principles, all those ones will come to play. I have my personal experience. As a commissioner, I went for a trade fair. Your boys or your men, this time yesterday, I was at the trade fair too, because I believe in what you're trying to bring up, town and gown. So I saw these boys from Ogunwater side. They extracted oil from cassava, seeds. Many people don't even know that cassava do have seeds. And I was curious. I went as the state commissioner for agric. So we talked. I noted it. So when I go back to the university after my service period, I took it up and did the research. What I saw, I realized that the oil from cassava seeds is richer than most other lesser known oils that are very expensive. Sunflower oil, soybean oil, and so on. The only thing is by the time the oil starts coming out, the cassava underground will be forming fibers. Fiber is when they try to process further, those things they get and throw away. So I took my oil to UK. Some companies showed interest. They use them for skin treatment. Very, very rich. When I said policies and all those things, many countries do export okra. But in terms of quality control, the ones coming from Nigeria are not able to meet the simple standards laid out so that we cannot export and make money like other nations do. Yam, okra, they are taken from Ghana to UK. Why are we not exporting? Because we like doing things the back door way. Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute, I think it's as old as, probably established around 1950 something. We still cannot properly preserve tomatoes. So that means one simple problem we have not been able to solve because we don't have the right people to do the right thing.
The right people to do the right thing. But even at the top echelon, I know many states they have professors of agriculture like you, as commissioner. Even at national level, we've seen academics head position. Of course, the current president of AFDP, Akim Adesina, former former minister of agriculture. So at the state level too, I mean, you can't just take a banker to come and head agriculture. Now, most times it's always those that know about agriculture. So where is the missing link? I mean, in all of this, we're having the professionals head institutes. So where do we go from here?
There are missing links. I said policies, See, all those simple things you put together, it becomes a policy, then the implementation. Go and ensure that you do this. I was a deputy dean supporting somebody, and suddenly I found myself in the position of a dean and things changed. So somebody asked me, what happened? Where are all these things coming from? They have been there. But if the guy I was assisting as a deputy did not believe in my principles, in my policies, it won't see the light of the day. And this is why we sit down, meet, talk. There are other things on paper to guide you. There are things there to guide you. So somebody must be bold. In those days, ordinary directory, you must guide it jealously because somebody can use it the wrong way. You can use your VC's telephone number the wrong way. But now, somebody can access it through the internet. So what have we done to protect that same thing that was so seen as sacred?
Well, okay. Well, we're the Dean of the defunct College of Natural Sciences, former head of Department of Microbiology, coordinator and HOD of the university's pre-degree program, and former head of Department, Sciences, the tertiary university. But now let me stay with FUNAB. I know years ago, I think that was Goodluck Jonathan government. He directed specialized universities to take management courses. But if I'm not mistaken, in 2017, the same federal government suspended management courses from specialized universities, including FUNAB, saying just stick with your mandate. So just do agriculture related courses and don't go out of your mandate. Until now, I don't know if those I don't think those management courses are back. Now it has become a debate. Should a specialized university, go outside of their mandate? Why can't agriculture is quite broad? So FUNAB should be able to just focus on agriculture and leave management courses to conventional universities, so that you won't derail, from the given mandate.
You see why I'm smiling? One thing I was able to learn as a student abroad is the fact that education is all about knowledge. And the other side of it is about business. That ought to have answered that question. And the other side of it is what I called policy, how you manage it. For God's sake, how can a government think, have we been able to feed ourselves very well to start with? No. At the bottom of every business is money. Stop agric. By the time I finished my PhD, I quickly registered for a course in business management, and I realized a scientist that is not wise will remain stupid forever, because that's your invention. Somebody else is going to make money out of it. So when I came to the university in FUNAB, our science students were doing management courses. You must know how to manage what you invent. You must know how to manage whatever thing you are able to come up with. Not wait for the guy who did business management to come and do it for you and make all the money. What do you want to benefit from?
But these courses could be I mean, elective courses.
Hang on.
Doesn't have to be, a discipline on its own.
So you just
because
have
the fact
an
is,
idea.
what's the difference between a specialized university and a conventional university?
Agric business. Does it sound right? Agric business is still a business. We are in a knowledge-based economy.
Yeah. And there's agricultural economics, also as a discipline.
We have agric botany, agric biology, everything. Yeah. It's the agric that we look at. The other side of it, we are not considering. You need to make money. That is the economy there. You must make money. In FUNAB then, let me give you one example. You asked State Fund to do a building for you that will accommodate 1,000 students. You met and concluded 1,000 student hall. And you can demarcate into 4 to take 250. Then out of the blue, somebody who does not know how to manage space, resources, money, said, 1,000 student auditorium, wouldn't that be too big? Maybe we can just do 250. Do you know what the engineers did, the builders? They did one for 250 at the same cost. So who lost? Is the beneficiary. That you came and you changed on your request. So we did one for 250. So some years later, they now came and said that hall is small for them. They cannot accommodate, because NUC will tell you, they give you the number of students you can take. Now, talking about specialization, there is no demarcation between knowledge these days. Go and check that. Go and check that. It's all about knowledge. I had foresight. The college I managed was the biggest college in the university. That let us split this college so that we can expand economically, bring in more colleges and more departments that will now introduce economically viable courses. People are looking for courses that will sell, attractive courses. We'll be talking, who's talking about botany, agric. I'll be talking about biosafety, something that will interest even aviation industry.
Yeah. But of course, nobody will stop, Department of Biosafety. Just like I did ask before the program, when I said applied microbiology, is it agricultural related? And I said no, it has to do with everything. So which means a graduate of applied microbiology from FUNAB would also work in the hospital.
Aviation.
Yes, I have someone who read agricultural economics and is working in the bank and I asked, okay, is the agricultural economics just based on agriculture? And they said, well, there's no much difference between you reading economics and agricultural, economics.
In fact, CBN many years ago had agric departments. Yep. We had agric departments and employed people that did agric economics and agriculture as a course.
But I mean, the fear of the federal government is also valid, because from my research, I know that the Ministry of Agriculture, these specialized universities or University of Agriculture, they are under, the Ministry of Agriculture, and somehow they fund, at these universities, and they are saying, it's better we fund, agricultural courses, and it's also a way to ensure that specialized universities remain specialized and they are not, going outside.
When you produce your tomato, the moment it gets to the market, what are you talking about? Economics.
Yeah. Well, every school has entrepreneurial studies these days, even the conventional universities.
That came to support that argument. And now all the universities are now running courses in entrepreneurial studies.
But nobody will stop FUNAB for doing
You
that.
will see what will become of that later. You will see.
Because at some point, I think FUNAB was, someone told me that she was going to study mass communication at a FUNAB. I was like, what's the correlation?
Because
I know there's a Department of General Studies where students are taught English and all of that. Some of these courses could be under the General Studies program. Some of these courses could be taken as electives instead of having, a faculty.
No. Remember what I said earlier? We are in a knowledge-based economy. Yes. That before I concluded my PhD, I saw an opportunity to do a course in integrated management. And I realized that if you stick to your sciences, you will not have the right exposure. Part of the program took us to the stock market in London. And I could see how a poor guy can become rich within an hour at the stock market, and how a rich man can become very poor. Games and all those things we were exposed to, and you will just see yourself as not smart. So when I returned to Nigeria, I didn't go back to the university. I went into business, and I felt I was comfortable. But again, faith took me back to the university. And some other reasons. Because to be a good businessman in Nigeria, now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it is then you, your conscience, your God, and then you decide, do you want to continue in this line? Mm-hmm.
Okay, now everybody's talking about artificial intelligence and is shaping a lot of things that we do. With AI, people could do so many things, and there are talks of also having new courses, that are in tune with the generation we are now into. You just said now that botany, that some courses are losing relevance. Let's face it. You did mention biosafety. So, is FUNAB also looking into that and saying, okay, it's high time we generate, we have new courses that are in tune with trends.
Yeah.
So they're having that discussion, even new courses in agriculture, and perhaps the ones they feel are no longer relevant, let's stop, taking students.
Yep, we have some in the pipeline. Have you heard of forensic botany?
No, you have heard of botany.
Yes, there's forensic botany. We can use that to determine a time or period that somebody was murdered. The type of vegetation from the seeds that grew out of the dead body, the remains of a dead man, at the site that the body was recovered. Will tell you the time of the year and many, many things. The seed, I'm just using that. A lot of other things will be involved. The kind of soil and so on and so forth. Knowledge is all interwoven now. It's not that, okay, yes, I'm going to school to do. Most of the boys that do Yahoo, who taught them? No computer lecturer will teach you that. So you are thinking of application of what you have been taught in school, and not you must do this. My interest in the University of Education is, many people don't know the concept in that place. It's a University of Education, the first in the country. Fine. Right? Before you teach that subject, you must know the subject very well. So about 70% of the course content is that subject you want to go and teach, not just education. And then they will now give you opportunity to learn a trade which you get a certificate for. And then education. which is just the pedagogy, the method of teaching. So that makes you will end up as a good biologist, you will end up as a good teacher, and you might end up as a good bricklayer.
I mean, and the ability of even students to internalize. We've seen a third class, graduate going to the UK bagging a first class. And time you ask the question, they'll say, well, the environment is different.
Yes.
One of the major problems right now is that of power. We heard of what's happened in UCH for several months. There was no power, and I'm sure almost every institution is struggling. Some will have to ration it and say, okay, we can only give you, power from so time to, so time, and it has become so difficult. It has made learning environment so difficult for students. In some institutions, they will take to protest that we should have 24/7, electricity. And how many universities can generate their own power by themselves? I mean, what should we do?
Before coming into the studio, I told somebody that if you ask me this kind of question, I'll just say skip. That we should skip that. I don't think there is a problem that shouldn't have a solution. I was almost in tears when I drove through the secretariat. Those generating sets that they bought, and they are there rotting. So that means there was at a time there was an effort to find a solution locally. But something happened, the thing was killed. Abeokuta would have been a pilot scale of local power generation and distribution. Inconsistency in policy. That was what I was trying to talk about when I used deputy dean, and everything changing. Do you think we cannot solve the electricity problem? We can. We don't want to.
Why?
Not for this program.
No, because that's quite fundamental.
Not for this program.
They say we can, but we do not want to solve the problem. Then the next year, why is it we don't want to solve the problem? Is it that the leaders are just interested in people suffering? We know if economy will be buoyant, we need power, 24/7 electricity, affordable electricity. It will do a lot. So
people are ready to pay. We are paying already. We are paying. Where I live in Ibadan, they charge me so much and I'm not getting anything. They say it's band A or band whatever.
Yeah, band A, and it's still not regular. The
band A promised me 20 hours electricity.
Are you getting 20 hours?
I don't get 10 minutes.
And you pay so much for power?
Yes. In fact, what I do now is when I want to leave home, I put it on neutral. I put it on neutral so that I can come back and meet something to take off. It's here you cannot get electricity done on online or offline or no line. Let's keep that one.
So I'm interested in then why can't we solve this? Perhaps you know something.
Have we solved
you know something I don't know?
That of food. A microbiologist, not electrical engineer, but we can solve it. There is no problem that we cannot solve. Maybe we carry our problems to God. So God said we should not bring this world to him. Did God tell us not to bring electricity problems to him?
Because agriculture also has a role to play. I could remember years back, we can generate electricity from agricultural waste, from waste. I don't know where that has led us to.
It has led us to Bola. It has led us to Bola.
Or maybe perhaps FUNAP should be leading in that. If electricity can be generated from agricultural waste, maybe your institution should be leading.
Biogas.
Biogas, yes.
Use your phone, you will see so many publications. Back to my earlier example. Look around you here, get next door, look around you, and bring out examples of products of Nigerian research here. Not that we don't do. The trend, submit your project reports. Yes, you will submit. They will keep it on the shelf. After a while, the shelf will break when the load is too much. After a while, the roof will tear, water will pour on it to the skip, and that is it. Why are we not using the researches for our own progress? I shouldn't say this. In fact, I have not appeared on any TV or radio program since I left government in 1999, because things change. When you are there, it's different from when I was there. It's different from what is obtainable now. And every leader will tell you they have acted according to situation. Sure, you understand? So I don't criticize, I don't condemn. Whatever we did in our time, we did based on the situation. And I pray that you become bigger than this. So, and maybe by then I must have retired. I will ask some of these questions again. But it is unfortunate that we are not making good progress as a nation. Very, very unfortunate. So if the churches that we attend, maybe we are not loud enough, we should make it louder. But I believe we need to work harder to make this country great.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. We need to work harder to make Nigeria great. Some would say greater. Well, that's food for thought. Many thanks, Professor Temitope, Popoola. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Professor. Maybe subsequently, we still get to do this. Perhaps we'll be talking about improvements. Perhaps we'll be talking about, findings, progress, so to speak. That's the hope. We don't have to dwell so much on our problems, as a nation, our problems in agriculture. So thanks for coming once again.
Thank you very much.
That's the show. Many thanks for watching. My guest has been Professor Temitope, Popoola, Professor of Applied Microbiology at Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB, but currently is at Tai Solarin University. So till next week when I come your way again with another eminent personality, I say to you, stay safe and stay out of trouble. Bye for now.